Didn't discuss the fact that there's hearings going on right now, brothers and sisters. Right now, there's hearings going on concerning all that we were talking about on this channel and were being censored during the pandemic. And there's hearings happening right now. For, man, they're actually, brothers and sisters, telling the world some of what's going on with the adverse effects for those who chose to get the jabby jab. We're going to go into that within this particular Patreon. We're going to go into it on Patreon, right? Of course, with the scriptures also. But I need y'all to hear what doctors,
hear this,
as well as legislators are saying, folks, concerning those who decided to take the jab. Right? Let me play a little bit of it because, of course, this is Associated Press, right? Fair use, but this is public government.
Don't want to get copyrighted, copy striked.
Government information. Let me give you a couple of minutes on what they're actually admitting.
Public government information.
Right now.
What they're admitting.
And guess what? I don't have.
What they're admitting, what they're showing you. If you do the research, hey, listen. You want to listen? You don't want to believe in the Bible or believe in us? Okay, well, if you ain't believe in the Bible or us or Christ, you listen. You believe in them by default. So let's see what they say, because that's these people who you believe in, right? Let's see what they say.
Anything. They're telling.
Yep. They're finally coming out of the bag with it, bro. Finally.
The government.
Yep.
The governments are explaining and exposing all those that were behind pushing that stuff. On top of that, they're also pointing out the people who are getting targeted. They made sure, according to these quotes, not my quotes, that they were going to first go after the low-hanging fruit. Really, what they would deem the dumb within society who goes for anything.
Yep.
But
the lost sheep of the house of Israel, black people in America, lost sheep. They believe in oppression instead of their own. They're like sheep, so that's obviously Israelites.
Let me give you a few minutes of what they're actually admitting right now.
Yep, the government.
And I'm going to actually go over
this
more detail on Patreon.
Back in 2019.
Now, people working in our government to do this, and as opposed to cutting back on staff and trying to say that we need simultaneously more transparency when that becomes all the more difficult. But I mean, look, I understand, and I've had people in my life that have been ignored and not believed, whether that's, my time as a diplomat before, and people I know struggling with Havana syndrome, and people telling them, I don't believe you, and other issues that are out there. But we should always have that system in place. And that's what I just hope we can come back to. I mean, I get it. I'm new on this committee, and I understand that I'm seeing, years worth of back and forth that are coming here. But someone who's coming with some fresh eyes, I hope that we can try to cultivate that sense of trust that I know has been so good, because I worry about what comes next. I worry about how we deal with the next diseases, the next pandemics, how we try to move forward and understand how this technology of mRNA and others planned try to move forward on. So I just appreciate being able to hear this all and then try to figure out how best I can be able to relate to the people in New Jersey, around this country, about the safety of the COVID vaccines that I have seen be able to save lives, but also be able to assure that we won't ignore people if they have other concerns, and we do our best to be as transparent as possible and to be careful of.
Now, of course, he's straddling the fence. But how can you prove that something saved a life? I need y'all to think about that for a second.
Yep.
If someone is living and was living before they took this, what type of data someone can prove it's because of this you're still living? You see how backward that is?
Yep.
Oh, you living, so it must have worked.
Huh.
So how do you quantify how that had any specific part in saving a life? How do you measure that?
About to get down to the nitty gritty in a minute. You're about to see.
So when they
They're
say
about
it
to
saved
expose
lives,
us.
how can you prove that?
We're about to get down to the nitty gritty in a moment.
So you have to really listen to these guys, but there's some key information here I
It's
want
about
y'all to
pop
hear.
up. This ain't the
All of
main
your
course.
viewpoints ignored. You were called a conspiracy theorist, a spreader of misinformation, somebody who didn't know what they were doing, by people who didn't even take a science class in high school. And yet you're a doctor and you're completely ignored. Let me ask you, Dr. Vaughn, real quick question. How many children under the age of 5 years old died of COVID?
So very, very few. Actually, theoretically, a healthy child under 5, there wasn't any.
So it's basically zero.
Yes, it's
How about under the
statistically zero.
age of 10?
It's
But he
still
said zero.
Statistically zero.
15?
When you get
But
up
he said
into
zero,
when
bro.
you get up into the 15, 16,
But,
I mean,
but
there
he
is
said
some,
zero.
So under 15, none.
Yeah.
Pretty much none.
Statistically, yes.
All right, so I'm
But he
confused
said
because
zero.
Governor Green said he held the children who would have died from COVID, but that's crazy because evidently nobody died of COVID who was under 15. Now, we're talking about, but see, that's the confusion. See, when we talk about COVID vaccines and then we stick in,
By the way, the Bible says Satan is a god of confusion. So if you're super confused on something, especially something like the Bible or God, that's definitely Satan. That's definitely evil spirits and demons.
other vaccines, we get off topic because
Something
COVID
that's life-threatening, Satan.
19 wasn't about measles. Now, Dr. Thorpe, do you think good idea or bad idea that you should close schools? No,
Bad idea.
No, why? I mean, kids can learn at home, can't they?
They can learn very well at home, but at school, they will have the opportunity to develop.
By the way, folks, we're going to look at this in detail, and I'm going to let it play over on Patreon. But, folks, this is what they're talking about while the mainstream media has been distracting the world with how many bottles of baby oil was found in P. Diddy's home. See how it works, folks? Even though I didn't know baby oil was illegal to have, is that contraband? But anyway,
Baby
who cares
oil.
if he had, I don't care if he have a
It's literally a
gas
meme.
tanker that fills up gas stations backed up into his home with baby oil.
Baby oil. Dude, it's literally a meme, a distraction. That's what they be doing, bro. They be memeing people, and like people love those memes and trends and shit like that. So that shit sounds ridiculous, bro. But people get distracted by that funny stuff, jokes and all that, laughing. People get distracted.
We
by
should be
that.
focused on this,
People get distracted easily, bro.
right? See how they do it?
Yep. That's how they do it.
Plus,
That's how they've been doing it.
Schools, I did not want to close, and
But you did.
Actually, I was not governor at the time.
But you were lieutenant governor and you were the point person. Do you think the governor made a mistake in closing schools?
We reopened the schools as soon
Did
as
you
we could
think
get the
he made a
teachers- as soon as-
mistake?
Well,
Do
if
you
I
think he
can,
made a
may I
mistake?
answer
No,
the
no, but
question, or is
just-
this senator going to filibuster me, sir?
No, you're going to answer my direct question or just say I'm not going to answer you.
No, I'm gonna
Do
answer
you
your
think it
question.
was a good idea? Yes or no, the two choices in this answer. Do you think it was a good idea to close schools? Simple answer. Just give me a yes or a no.
As we had COVID surging through our society because there was massive spread from children to adults, we were waiting to make sure the teachers
So let
also.
me get this straight. You sacrificed the lives of children because maybe they would spread something that you don't know to adults. You thought that was a good, that's a.
No, that's
okay.
not always
No,
it.
no,
Actually,
no,
it's your
okay.
party that's
We're good.
trying
We
to
can-
close
we
our
can-
schools
we
and get
can-
rid of the Department of Education.
Yeah, that's
So
all you
we
need to
have-
know right
we
there.
do have
So we're not
differences of
politicizing
opinion.
this hearing. Okay,
No,
we're
well,
moving on.
You said my
We're
governors
good-
and the
we're
other
good.
governors that close
We're-
schools, which is a politicization
Look,
of the issue.
when I'm
That's all you need to know right there. Democrats are not smart. But it is two sides of the same coin, though. But a default pick is
in
Republican.
Hawaii and I'm having a hearing
They
before
really
you,
don't
you
know
can
that
interrupt
much.
me.
I will.
You're here before the
Two
United
sides of the
States
same
Senate, you're not
coin.
gonna interrupt me. Moving on. So here's the next question for you. Show me the science that said that when I walked into an airport in Hawaii, and I wasn't, I didn't want to tell you because it's none of your business whether I had a COVID vaccine or not, or tested positive or not, because that's also none of your business. Where's the science where I had to quarantine for 14 days? Tell me the science behind why you locked your residents up and did not allow them to go grocery shopping, why you closed your beaches and your parks. I would love you to put that science into this record because you can give me the nice, happy talk, but those were terrible decisions. And what COVID highlighted more than anything else, by the way, it's why I'm here. I ran for the United States Senate, not because I had this deep desire to be a government politician, but because I was so incensed by the arrogance, by the ignorance, by the lack of common sense among our elected officials.
Yep.
That we needed different kinds of people
You hear
here
that? He's
in
spitting right
Washington,
now, ain't
D.C.
gonna
and other places. So,
Shall I answer those questions, Chairman?
no, there was no question for you. That was just a
There were
statement.
several questions.
No,
You asked about
no.
why a 14-day
He's spitting right
quarantine.
now,
You
I ain't
asked
gonna lie
about
to
what
you.
the
What's the
airports.
science? Sure, what's the science? 14-day quarantine.
Because
Not
the
12, not 16.
actually, I asked for 5 days, just so you know.
So
With
what
my-
was it? Was there a dartboard?
No, it was 5
That's some of
days
your
because that
politicians,
was
bro.
the
This
amount
guy-
of
this guy right
time
there,
from
that's some of your
symptoms to
politicians, bro.
transmission.
So why
That was-
14?
Motherfucker is
The
not
14
sick
day was,
at all,
was
bro.
before
Not
we
sick.
had the
So,
we had the
so 14 wasn't scientific, just to be clear.
14 days was how long it took for people to get over the disease, and people were still shedding virus at that period, and that's why you do use science and I use science.
I do admit though, some people are sheep and they're genuine with this politics stuff. When it's at the top, at the very tippy top, it's two sides of the same coin. It's political theater. Like at the top, like these people are probably lower, like at the top, like on some Obama, Kamala Harris, Trump, Biden type beat. Like it's the same sides. Like they're on the same side, but it's always the lower people that are sheep. Always.
But you didn't like science for Hawaii.
Did
But
the
we
co-
did
did the
we did
COVID
have the test, and we did have
I
the
said
test
Hawaii.
to enter Hawaii, so people could make a
What is he talking about? The Hawaii fires or something? The government did that shit too.
choice, an informed choice.
It's the
And
same
they-
thing with NATO or something in Jerusalem. They set the fucking place on fire and blamed it on fucking black people, Israelites and shit. 70 AD, bro. Go look that shit up. That's real history. We ran to Africa under Roman persecution and shit. Real history. You can't be white hiding in a black nation for white Romans. You know what I'm saying? So, Bible calls Christ black, Israelites black. Revelation 1:14-15. Christ is asking what hair, red eyes. And by the way, while I'm on that, Christ's real name is Yeshua. It means my savior in the ancient Hebrew Phoenician. And Most High's real name is Ahai Shahai. I am that I am. He gave that to Muslims in Exodus 3:13-14. Christ, the letter J didn't exist when Christ was alive. Nick couldn't have been Jesus. So that's history. The letter J didn't exist.
did, and then they didn't have to quarantine at all. Just to make sure you know that, because I think you have your facts wrong. And also, I didn't close the beaches. That was the mayor of Honolulu and not me. So just, it is important that you get the facts right if you're going to be a political official.
So it's what you're saying. It wasn't me, it was the other guy.
No, it was me who ran the COVID response.
Zero accountability. Dr.
Well,
McCullough,
I'll take more
Doc-
accountability if you give
I'm
me
done
more
with you.
time.
I'm done with you, Governor. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, sir.
So Dr. McCullough, quick question for you. Just completely objective. Look, I went to business school. I was not a doctor. So I'm truly objective.
I want to pause this for a second.
With
Using
the
your
business
most
school.
subjectiveness here. Did the vaccine stop the spread of COVID-19?
No.
So then let me ask you one simple question. We'll go down the line. You guys can answer. It'll be my last question. So if COVID-19 did the vaccine, the injection, did not stop the spread of COVID, why is it that Joe Biden
was misinformation? I didn't even know what he was talking about. I had never heard that term before in academic medicine or in important deliberations. That's November 19th, 2020. What was he doing? He was using an old communist propaganda technique. He was attempting to gain leverage over me before a word ever came out of my mouth. We should never have our public servants ever try to gain leverage over anyone who is coming to Washington to help the nation.
That's
on
some
an
heresy,
important issue.
heretic. That's a heresy right there
Let's
in the
introduce you
Bible.
an
Get you in
international
there.
cardiologist. I believe I'm the most published individual who's ever testified on matters related to COVID-19 in any of these hearings. I've seen and examined more patients. I've examined more data, and I'm one of the most published people on the topic in the world. And as a cardiologist, I can tell you, my role in this was to fight disease, preserve life, and above all, do no harm.
Preserve life.
Do no
Do
harm.
no harm. Yeah, they're funny.
Now, the topic
That's a
today
funny
is
topic.
myocarditis or heart damage from
That's
the
funny.
COVID-19 vaccines. I'm a cardiologist.
This guy probably thinks he's a sheep. He probably thinks, but higher ups, nah, bro. They're trying to genocide people, bro. That's what they're trying to do. It's in the Bible, so read it. The Bible says America is satanic and there's wars of Satan. So,
I know the topic well. I've examined thousands of patients with this problem. Thousands. Before the pandemic, I had 2 patients ever with this problem. There's 1,065 papers in the peer-reviewed literature on COVID vaccine myocarditis. So let me summarize them for you. The first one that came on my radar screen that was alarming came from Washington University in St. Louis, August 18th of 2021. The first author is Verma and colleagues. New England Journal of Medicine. 42-year-old man comes into Washington University Hospital with vaccine myocarditis. The infection is ruled out. It's the vaccine. He's in the hospital. This is one of our best hospitals in the United States. He dies 3 days after taking Moderna. They can't save him in the hospital.
So, Dr. McCullough, move the microphone just a little bit away from you.
Then one was reported from Korea by Choi and colleagues. This is now a younger man. Just a few days after Pfizer. He comes in the hospital. He dies within 8 hours of being in the hospital. I can tell you, I'm a
Yep.
cardiologist. That doesn't even happen with heart attacks. He dies within 8 hours.
Yep, these hospitals are death places, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Dang, people gotta wake up. Bro, wake up. Witchcraft. The word witchcraft in the Bible means pharmaceutical in medication. By the way, the word witchcraft in the Bible, poison.
Now, I'm going to go into some of this, brothers and sisters,
The word
with
witchcraft in the
my
Bible means pharmaceutical
commentary
and medication. And
on
poison.
Patreon.
The first drug
Reason why I'm
was
letting it play
planted by
is
Satan and
because
treated in the garden.
what they'll allow others to say, we can't say, or they'll just delete everything. Okay? They're allowed to say what we were censored from saying years ago. But they can say it. So, hey, I'm going to have my commentary on and my opinion on this on the other side. But why am I going into this? Question. Is there what? Is there a connection between what they were giving people and the coming mark of the beast, or the current mark of the beast? That's what we're going to be discussing today. According to the Bible, there's a link. Some people might ask, well, what do you mean? According to the Bible, Elder Ricard Shar, there's a link. Well, you have to understand that in the Bible, the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, it says, you will not be able to buy or sell unless you get that mark of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, and of course, we know the medical procedure that we just went through isn't the mark of the beast itself.
Nope, it's a test. It's a
But
prototype. It's a
everything
test.
the Bible stated, not being able to by yourself.
Basically, the
not
same
being
people
able
who
to
got that
communicate
damn
or
pandemic is
socialize,
gonna
or
get the
be
mark in
barred out of
SDGs. There's no
society,
repentance.
stores closing down, and all these others, being shamed by loved ones because you choose not to get a medical procedure. That whole psychological operation is a pretext to what the whole world will experience when the mark of the beast is rolled out. So that was a beta test.
Yep, beta
that
test.
was stage one,
Yep, sure
ground
was.
zero for what the world will experience when the mark of the beast is rolled out.
It's in Revelation, bruh. No.
So there is
The
a
microchip of our ID chip, Verichip, goes in your hand, forehead. Can't buy or sell. You can't do nothing without that chip. Online currency, no physical cash, cashless society. And this been playing for decades. Like literally Rothschilds, those Satanists, those Jewish people, Roman Satanists. They've been talking about that before 9/11. Then they did all these strategies, by the way. They're Satanists, but and that star in Israel today, star Moloch, Satan, is in the Bible as being child sacrifice and sorcery, Satanic pentagram, Amos 5, Act 7. So those are Romans. They're not Israelites. They're Satanists. Christ said, "Know the blasphemy of them who say they are Jews but are not, but are synagogue upset." Those people literally worship in synagogues. Their churches are literally called synagogues. You can't make it up. So yeah, bro.
medical component to this, because why? You're gonna have
Oh yeah, mark of the beast. Yeah, it's gonna control you through frequencies and all that, and you're gonna be worshiping Satan. You can't control your actions. It's gonna be just like Babylon. So don't get it. The Bible says if you do get it, you're condemned to hell. So just don't get the microchip. It's that simple. And some people will go to jail. Some people will die. Some people you can't work by yourself. So as you choose this world, and plus, if you get the chip, you're gonna be able to live regularly for like 2 months, then die of cancer, because it's gonna be the Bible says it in Revelation. There would be a grievous sore. We got that mark, that microchip, and you will die of cancer. So either way, you biting the dust. So you might as well not even get it. You know what I'm saying? And you can look back to GOCC, Gavin 144, my videos, any videos, and you're gonna see it's gonna happen. It's already here. You can look it up. So don't get it.
to go to your DMV, your doctor's office, or the supermarkets
Yeah,
where
don't
you
go to no
have
doctors. Not all
to
that
get
stuff.
the mark of the beast administered into you. Or you can go to a tattoo parlor. Okay? There'll be private doctors and hospitals with licenses to administer the mark of the beast. Well, guess what? The pandemic allowed all of that infrastructure to get set up so that when it's rolled out, you'll already understand where to go. I never understood why they would put supermarkets, put drugs in supermarkets.
Yep.
Those used to be two separate businesses, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you put
And the first drug was a tree grenade made by Satan in the garden, by the way. So all drugs are bad.
vaccines or drugs in a supermarket if it's not connected? One day, hypothetically, they could come.
Bible says her cure all things. No, I was gonna say something else, but I forgot.
A time where in order for you to get your food, you're going to have to mosey on over to the counter to get your shot in order to shop in the supermarket. If you want to go out and have a good time socializing with your family, supermarket, or at a nice restaurant, well, they did a beta test for that too. They said if you didn't have the vaccine card during this time, the satanic, crazed out liberals, the Democrats was pushing this because a lot of the money was going through under their NGOs so they can siphon money out of the government that still people haven't figured out where all this money went.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you look at the side effects of these medicines when the commercials, ads on TV or wherever, there's like 30 side effects for one relief, and some of those a lot of the time, majority of the time, it'd be like that's a death, suicide. That's a suicide and shit. Like, how am I getting death of suicide from a piece of medicine? So we gotta wake up. People gotta wake up.
Well, this was a part of it also. Remember when they told people unless you had a vaccine card, you couldn't go into you couldn't go into a fine restaurant, fine dining? Remember that? Huh? And how stupid that looked. Here it is. You had to wear your mask at the hostess desk. But only then you had to walk through the restaurant and could only take off your mask when you sat down at your table. How ridiculous that was. As if COVID was going to stay within your table parameters. The parameters of your table. Right? And then in order for you to go to the bathroom, you had to put your mask back on like little 3-year-old children, grade school children, to go to the bathroom. Okay? It was an exercise of what? Full control over the population. And everyone was lockstep. And here's the crazy part about it. They could not have done anything unless the citizens complied or carried the water or was fearful based on what they were saying on the television. They would have to wrap the whole thing up if people didn't agree with it. If everyone kept their stores open and everybody kept going back and forth and interacting with people because you had the freedom to, they would have had to try something else. But folks, wait till you hear the percentages of numbers of people.
You have to use psychology, fear mongering, the fear controls. People don't even know it. A lot of that stuff they be saying is BS.
Who died not before the vaccine rollout, but after it was rolled out. We're going to go over that. Now, why did I title this?
Yep, more people got unalived by the actual pandemic injection. The supposed cure that literally gave you it's like people are so delusional. I'm trying to not get the cough, but yet the injection is going to give me the cough so I can be immune. Really, I thought the cough was deadly, so why are you giving me the cough? People are fucking funny, huh?
Many of
Then there's boosters and shit. Like, if I'm getting it to get immune, why do I need boosters if I'm immune? Like, people are like, yo, Bible said it, man. God's people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Bible says you reject knowledge, you get destroyed, bro.
taking the mark of the beast.
I'll let you succumb to all this garbage. Listen to these lies.
Many have taken the mark of the beast already. Will you? Why did I title it like that? Well, look at this. And I'm going to show this. I will show this on Patreon. Already, brothers and sisters, already, how many? 50,000 people have already received microchip implants in the United States.
That's crazy.
50,000 and counting.
Satan servants.
Which means there's many people walking in your super.
That's 50,000. That's 50,000 Satanists right there. That's crazy. Satan's world broad the way to destruction, and narrow straight path of the way to the kingdom. If you will find it, broad means majority, bro. Majority are sheep, and you could be ignorant too. People think you gotta actually know what you're doing. Like, you could be, bro. If you're following this world, if you're not following the Bible, the real Most High, Ahaya, and Christ Yeshua, not Jesus nor religion, you're just following Satan, bro. By default.
Marcus, Amazon, and all of this. And they're just moving their hand over where your card reader is and that's how they're paying for their products already and counting. Now, this is how it all comes together. I thank the Most High for giving us some insight from the beginning. Before there was YouTube, we told people out on the street what they were going to do, how they were going to roll this whole thing out. And folks, this is why they kept deleting our channel. Because they was wondering, how could these people, these black people from the ghetto, who've been educated under our schools, how were they able to put all this together even before the technology had been rolled out? They must have known the God of the Hebrews are talking to his people.
Yep.
This is why they kept deleting our channel time after time, even though we're not what? We're not radical. We don't talk down against other races of people. We respect all people. So they couldn't use radicalization or claiming that we are hating white people and all that, because that's not what we do. We teach the Bible. Folks, they were censoring the Gathering of Christ Church before the censorship you have seen since COVID and all that. When they was taking down channels, folks, they were doing that on YouTube against us just because we were able to connect the dots. We told people years ago, don't go for this terrorist crap they're telling you. How can they claim Arabs are terrorists and all this others when they're letting Arabs erect mosques in every major city? Right where I live, every place I see, there's mosques and Arabs. And this
it's
was
all about
after
Arabs back in the day, but yet
9/11, 2001.
Yep.
This was even after that. I'm seeing all these Arabs. I'm like, come on, man. Terrorism isn't what they're claiming it is. They're putting religious extremism on the books to stop the children of Israel from ever identifying with themselves. When we start claiming we're Israelites, then they're going to start claiming religious extremism. And they use what? Arabs to pivot off of them to direct their evil, their evil concentrated system against the awakening. It was never about Arabs. Arabs can come over here today, jump off a camel, get on a plane and come over here and get more than a black man can receive right now who built the country. So it was never about Arabs, folks. It was about putting something on the books against us. And I told people years ago.
9/11 wasn't by the government, by the way. I'm not sugarcoating it. That's facts.
A terrorist. Watch.
$20 bill before 9/11
because
happened
this
had the
is
Twin
one
Towers burning.
thing the synagogue.
That's only one example.
They're in control. Let me tell you, there's Zionist controllers over the right-wing evangelical Christian system. Okay? There's Zionists over that. There's Zionists that's over a lot of what you would call the apologetics teachings that send all the literature to the Christian churches that we populate and support more than any other demographic. So they can control. I can go into a black church today and the preacher will tell you, yeah, we are in support of Israel. How would you think that and not be in support of your people who are suffering in your neighborhoods? So all of these other organizations are controlled. The one thing they cannot control is our people identifying as the children of Israel. And that alone made the awakening what? A threat. Because they don't have the people inside to control where it's going. The Catholic Church, the Christian churches in the black neighborhood have all been compromised. They've all been compromised. And I told people years ago how they was going to do this. They were going to start labeling Israelite terrorists. That's why I told these Israelites out there, y'all got to stop the old way, calling people names and all this. Let's grow up and use the wisdom of Christ to teach the knowledge of Christ. We don't need to talk down on other people to push the truth. I told people years ago that's a childish way of teaching the Bible. Let the truth condemn. Let the word stand. And now they're going to promote all the radicals who are operating outside of Christ, so that what? It leans into their demonization to claim that Israelites are all racist. Therefore, they are the equivalent of the black KKK, and now can be labeled terrorists. I told them this ain't how Christ do it. And they played right into the trope that all Israelites have to be crazed people on a mission to take down something.
Yep, exactly.
Without their king.
It's just like the Bible, with those zealots and the Jew in Jerusalem, trying to take down the government and all this other garbage. It's like the weapons of our warfare is not carnal. Like we just tell people the truth, the Bible, not religion, the Bible, the real Christ, the real Messiah. That's it. We don't do nothing else. They use these crazy radical ass Israelites. They promote them throughout media instead of the real Israelites like us, like GOCC, Gathering 144 on YouTube, Gathering Christ Church. It's basically Israelites that all they know is they're Israel. They don't even follow the Bible at all, to be fair. They really don't. It's no different than religion, really, or Jewish people. Like, it's the same shit. Like, they're not following the Bible pretty much. That's really it. All they know is they're Israelites. That's all they know. So, and they're buying into, like, yeah, they're just not following the Bible. So they'll try it. Mainstream media would promote those people who, like, hate all white people or something. It's like, dude, it's a government. It's not all white people. Not all Edomites, but yeah, that's how they do it.
Not smart.
Demonization of Israelites.
50,000 people have already received the mark of the beast, and I'm going to talk about that on Patreon. Why am I going here? Remember the other day where I talked about 106,000 of our sisters lost their jobs? Most among all workers. The same time Trump is going after Section 8, setting up work programs where what? You're going to have to work to get any public assistance. Now that there's no jobs, because all the jobs are being given to Ukrainians and all the other Eastern Europeans who are coming into the country, they're first in line for all the jobs, on top of who? On top of the immigrants who are let in to replace you. And don't even count in AI. So our sisters have been bounced out. But what does this mean? How does this link to the mark of the beast? Well, for those who have been following the Gathering of Christ Church since about 2008, 2009, when they started putting our videos online, I went on a national tour to a few cities, to a lot of cities, and I had a teaching that a lot of it is online all over the place. People have cut, paste, and put my videos all over the place, right? There was a series I did called Path to the Mark. In the midst of that, we were in Washington, D.C. A series I did called Path to the Mark. In the midst of that, we were in Washington, D.C. area. And we were at a family's house, highly affluent family, seemed like they were doing good, nice big house. All of them worked for the government. And there was a sister there in particular. And I said, listen, they're going to roll out the mark of the beast, where you're not going to be able to go to the supermarkets. You're not going to be do anything unless you get this mark. And at that's
in the Bible in Revelation, bro. Revelation, read it.
God's people are going to have to exercise faith. And this girl stood up right in my face, right? And of course, anytime they show our sisters, they have to show what? The trope of them, you know, angry and loud and all these others. That's part of their psychological operation. They always claim that they are in support of our sisters, But anytime, any opportunity they get, they highlight the negative stereotype. And this is coming from Black Enterprise, this particular picture. Right? Black Enterprise is showing our sisters like this. But I'm going here because the sister stood up when she didn't have to and say, listen, I have a son. And if my son is going to starve and not have a place to stay, and someone tell me that I need to take an RFID chip in order for my son to live, guess what, honey? I'm taking it, because I don't know what God you serve that would let children starve. And
Yep, that's what people think. I'm telling you, man. People don't get it. It's like the wilderness, purging out the rebels. Like, if the Bible tells you not to get it, you don't get it. Like, people don't realize that that's how you exercise faith. Literally. Like, who said it? Didn't, like, the disciples of Christ said, like, dying? Hold on. That's a pagan's mindset anyway, because if you're following the truth, you're going to heaven anyway. So it's like, I don't know. People are just so, this is what they mean by this world. Like, people are so, like, people think it's the end when you die or something. Like, that's what Satan wants. Satan controls people through death, fear. He's the angel of death. But yeah, that's what some people are like, bro. Like, I'm gonna get the mark of the beast. I'm gonna get the microchip. If we're starving and we're homeless, I gotta do it. It's the same logic as like gangsters or like Chicago people. Instead of just dropping everything and just leaving the hood with zero money, they'd rather just stay in the hood, keep killing and drug dealing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no faith. Talking about my kid dying. It's like, okay, well, if you believe in the Bible, you know where your kid is going. Like, why are you so afraid of death for? So, this is the lack of faith. And God's people die for lack of knowledge that the Bible speaks of. You know what I'm saying? It's like Christ walking on water, and the disciples like, nah, little faith. It's like another thing is like, what if you got like faith of a mustard seed or something, you can move mountains, stuff like that. Like, people see things too physical, too carnal, too like the too surface level. Like, they don't see the bigger picture, bro. Like, the reality is, I'm not getting the, she said that she's not getting the mark because she don't want her kids starving. The reality is, you're better off letting your kids starve than getting the mark, because at least they're not going to hell. You know what I'm saying? At least you're not going to hell. It's just that simple. It's saying the world is going to get destroyed. So it's like, that's what happens. Guys, people die for lack of knowledge. It's in the Bible, people, these people reject knowledge. Like, I don't know, man.
Become homeless. Now, what she stated sounded logical.
It does sound logical, especially to pagans, but it's not. It really isn't. Like, I'm not gonna take a microchip, then go into the Bible and read that if you take this chip, you're going to hell. Like, you ain't. I'm not. No.
Sounded logical.
Not gonna be me.
And if my son is going to starve, right? Black Enterprise is showing our sisters like this. But I'm going here because the sister stood up when she didn't have to and say, listen, I have a son. And if my son is going to starve and not have a place to stay, and someone tell me that I need to take an RFID chip in order for my son to live, guess what, honey? I'm taking it, because I don't know what God you serve that would let children starve and become homeless. Now, what she stated
Ain't that something?
sounded logical.
People don't get it.
It
Saving the
sounded
world.
logical for a lot of
Ain't the
people.
Most High making you go homeless?
She said, I don't know what Bible you reading, but the God I serve and go to church and serve, he's not going to allow my son to die if I have anything to say for it. And I said, sister, what you just expounded upon is the exact problem we have as a people.
Yep, exactly.
And she got loud and irate and all that, because
That's the exact problem we have. It's like, it doesn't matter what you think. Like, people is all about what you think. I don't think a God would do that. I don't think. My think. Like, doesn't the Bible say to stay away from man's philosophy? Man's opinions? Like, if the Most High said in the Bible, do not take this mark, you don't take it. You know what I'm saying?
we are the most church-going people who claim to believe in Christ.
It's all...
But as a people,
when people say assumptions, opinions,
have
it's
the least
religion.
we have the least faith.
Sure
as a
do.
people. You mean to tell me you'll take Satan's mark?
Yeah, he'll take
so that your
Satan's
child
mark.
can eat,
Ain't
as
that
if God
something?
don't know your child need food?
Ain't that something?
And she got up and she walked out and all these others. And guess what? Now that I see, think about this, 106,000 of our sisters, 300,000 since February have been laid off. And how many of those sisters are in the same mind as that sister who stood up 2008, 2009 during my series, Path to the Mark? How many more of these women are no different than her, who would be willing to do whatever the government say in order to keep their current lifestyles?
Yep.
If this is not Revelation 13 jumping off the pages, where it says you will not be able to buy or sell unless you get the mark of the beast, I don't know what is. And there's no other book on earth can describe what's going on in the earth real time. No other book. And I'm sitting there looking at this, seeing the strategic planning they have done, where it's almost what? It's almost to a scenario where it's leading our people, the world, with it's leading us without any alternative. Either
true.
we do this or we're out.
It's true, man.
See? Isn't that what we experienced during COVID, during the pandemic?
It's true, man. People are too programmed. If they can't go to work, feed their families, they have to. People just have to go with the program. People have to go with the program, man. That's what they bank on. Because if they take away you working, you providing for your family, like if they take it all away and you have to get a mark to go back to your regular life, you'll get that mark. No matter if it's evil or satanic. And you'll cope it too. People will cope it and acting like, oh, it's just this, it's just that, when it's, it's something different, right? So they get you programmed like work, provide, and get money, sustain, or whatever the hell, right? The program, the daily program, like working, getting money. Then when they take that away, you need this mark, or you can't do any of that no more. People are gonna be like, I mean, we're starving. We ain't got we're homeless. I mean, people are carnal, bro. People are physical. They don't think about the afterlife. They don't think about God. They don't think about none of that. They're gonna get that mark, and it's over. It's GG's. You got Satan's DNA. You got the MK Ultra device up in you, bro. It's over. So that's the problem with pagans, bro. People love their opinions, their own beliefs, but like, dude, if you're outside the Bible, the Most High, Christ Yeshaya, not religion, the Bible. Religion's a lie, not the Bible. If you're outside the Bible, you're following Satan. There is no anything else you're doing. So because you know what it is. You go to work, get money, you sustain yourself. So if they take all that away, and in order to get all that back, normality, the programmed life, in order to get that back, you need a chip. They're going to take that chip, no matter how bad it is. Hell, a lot of people, they like coping reality. They wouldn't even do the research. They wouldn't even look into it. They would just get it and move on, not even think about it. Because people think that if they're ignorant, it's going to change. Like, it's not going to change nothing. You're still going to hell. You're still destroyed. Like, God's people die for lack of knowledge. Just because you have the prophecies of the Most High are gone because of unbelief, God forbid. So just because you don't want to believe, your opinion, you this, use this, your opinion, you don't want to believe, doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So people cannot believe in the Bible. People can get the mark. People cannot believe in it doesn't matter. Prophecies of the Most High will happen. Hell exists. Judgment exists. It is what it is. So just don't get the mark of the beast. Don't get the microchip. Die. Go to jail. Die. Go homeless. Like, it's way better than going to hell. Only pagans will get that mark, bro. And it will be hard, obviously. No shit. We're programmed for this regular ass life. Then it's all gone. I mean, it's gonna be tough, but your soul's eternal, so. You have brief. Look at the disciples in Christ. Look at all they went through. The Bible says, like, you know greater than your master or something like that. So if Christ went through all of that, you're probably gonna experience the same shit. So, especially if you're in the truth.
I don't do this, I'm out of society. I cannot eat. I can't be able to have fun with my family. I can't be able to shop and enjoy the life I built for myself. And now, there is no jobs that are coming back. And the only choice our sisters, our people will have is to get the next line of currency that's right down the,
I'm actually about to go back on this one.
2008, 2009, what you just expounded upon, to live. Guess what, honey? Opportunity they get, right? Black Enterprise is showing our sisters like this. But I'm going here because the sister stood up when she didn't have to and say, listen, I have a son. And if my son is going to starve and not have a place to stay, and someone tell me that I need to take an RFID chip in order for my son to live, guess what, honey? I'm taking it, because I don't know what God you serve that would let children starve and become homeless. Now, what she stated sounded logical. It sounded logical for a lot of people that were there. She said, I don't know what Bible you're reading, but the God I serve and go to church and serve, he's not going to allow my son to die if I have anything to say for it. And I said, sister, what you just expounded upon is the exact problem we have as a people.
Yeah, it's just delusion. Like, first of all, it doesn't matter what you think. Second of all, the wages of sin is death anyways. So what say so do you even have? It's all about people's opinion, man. That's gonna lead people to hell, bro. Like, you gotta throw away your opinion, man. Your opinion is invalid. And it's Satan's war. Of course people are dying in Satan's war, right? The Most High is bound by his own freaking words. He's not a damn liar. When Adam fell, Satan took dominion over the earth, man. Satan's world.
And she got loud and irate and all that, because we are the most church-going people who claim to believe in Christ.
No faith.
But as a people, we have the least faith. We have the least faith as a people. You mean to tell me you'll take Satan's mark so that your child can eat, as if God don't know your child need food? And she got up and she walked out and all these others. And guess what? Now that I see, think about this, 106,000 of our sisters, 300,000 since February have been laid off. And how many of those sisters are in the same mind as that sister who stood up 2008, 2009 during my series, Path to the Mark? How many more of these women are no different than her, who would be willing to do whatever the government say in order to keep their current lifestyles?
Yep.
If this is not...
That's Satan. That's fear-mongering. That's control.
Revelation 13 jumping off the page.
This is what the Bible talked about. We're Israel like sheep. We stay on oppression. We believe in oppression and stay thereon. You know what I'm saying? They don't look at the bigger picture. They have no faith. It's like, dude, if you're following the Most High in Christ, you would... How are you a Christian, but yet you're scared of death? That's crazy. That's how you know Christianity, these religions are lies. They don't teach you shit. Bible is true, not religion.
Says you will not be able to buy or sell unless you get the mark of the beast. I don't know what is. And there's no other book on earth can describe what's going on in the earth real time. No other book. And I'm sitting there looking at this, seeing the strategic planning they have done, where it's almost what? It's almost to a scenario where is leading our people, the world, with it's leading us without any alternative. Either we do this or we're out. See? Isn't that what we experienced during COVID, during the pandemic?
Yeah.
If I like 2025 according to their count. Remember, I told you this, that they're going to tell our people that they'll forgive the debt, the school debt and any other debt, and give them a clean slate if they decide to comply with government to receive the mark of the beast. Remember, I told you all this first. And the first transition is going to have get people out there to give up their constitutional rights and only to opt in to the Real ID. That's going to be the first step. What is the Real ID? The Real ID is all of your data in one identification. But in order, when you sign up to it, you sign away your sovereignty. See? It's going to seem convenient. Your bank information, your identification, your medical records, your marriage certificates, any government issued paper will be within this particular identification. But by doing so, you sign away your sovereignty. So they're going to make it seem as if it's another form of identification, but it's not. Because when you read the fine print, folks, it's like you are actually opting out of the rights to travel that you receive under the Constitution. And now you're under the international Constitution. So you've ripped up your rights as a sovereign citizen without them even telling you. And they're going to call it the Real ID. A lot of people are getting it thinking it's a regular ID, but it isn't. So people might ask, well, if I don't get the Real ID, then I'm not going to be able to travel. Well, get your passport. Get your passport. That's the only identification that will still allow you to be able to travel. Folks, in the United States, I went to Houston last week. Okay? I went to Houston. Don't you know that you cannot travel within the United States on a regular state identification anymore? Either you need the Real ID or a passport to travel even within the United States. What is that telling you? United States have already been divided into regions. It's like separate countries from state to state. But they didn't tell you yet. They didn't tell us yet. All of what I mentioned was put in place during the reset. When everyone was home, they reset the whole thing during the so-called pandemic. Now, they done set the women up because women are over what? The decisions of the house. They're over the children. See? So now if you put the women out with no options, leaving them no options but to be homeless, how many of them are going to go down and line up for this RFID, folks, for the mark of the beast? Give me a percentage. I think about 90%. Or guess what? More will line up to keep their house, to keep SNAP, and to have an opportunity for a work program with limited jobs that they'd be willing to go out and get chipped to sustain their life. And not only that, the same thing with the vaccinations, where the children couldn't go to school unless the parents vaccinated them. Well, guess what? It's going to be a necessity where it's not just you, mama. You got to bring your children down like you got them vaccinated. They must be chipped too. And guess what? Satan will clean your slate. Now, before I go over, I'm going to talk about the Real ID, mass surveillance state. I'm going to deal with that on the other side. I'm going to also talk about what? Years ago, there was a I believe, a plant that was sent who tried to get our church compromised during the pandemic. There was a guy by the name of Matthew who I believe was almost a Manchurian candidate sent in by ops to try to get us associated with this guy that they sent in. Someone called me out of nowhere by the name of Matthew and said, Elder Ricard Shiar, I've been looking at your videos for a while, Elder, and it's going down right now. And I'm willing to send money to the church or whatever the case is, but I need to be baptized, right? He said, I need to be baptized. Folks, I said, brother, Elder Yarack, and Elder Yarack is monitoring this particular stream right now. He can vouch for everything I'm saying here. Elder Yarack was in California. Matthew called me. He was in California or Arizona somewhere and said he needed baptism. I said, brother, he was a white guy by the name of Matthew. And I said, I will connect you with Elder Yarack in California. You can't make this up. This guy started making literature with the Gathering of Christ Church on it and all of this, passing out, telling people to join the church and all this, right? Now, folks, none of us appointed this guy to do anything. I sent this guy to Yarack to speak to Yarack. And Yarack calls me at the baptism. You can't make this up. You know? And you know, when Yarack called me, he says, hey, boss. I don't know why he called me that. Hey, boss. I'm like, what's going on, Yarack? He says, I'm at the baptism. I'm like, all praises be to the Most High. He says, this guy Matthew you sent to be baptized. I'm like, yeah, baptize him. He says, Elder, right now, he's a white guy with a fresh tattoo of the name Ahia in the ancient Phoenician on his forehead. And he's in the corner with his hands up, praying, separate from everybody else, out of his mind. I said, well, that's interesting. I'm like, well, first of all, getting tattooed is against the law of God, for those who don't know.
Sure is. You can't mark your body.
And I wasn't going to have this brother disturb.
Because a mark on your body is like a sign of like demon possession or something. It's like evil spirits.
A baptism in Christ. This white guy who came out of nowhere. So I told him, I'm like, listen, tell that brother to go back to wherever he come from and reach out to us later. Because this is going left, right? This guy Matthew calls me a few days later and states, Elder Ricard Shiar, he said the vaccine is the mark of the beast, and you got to tell everyone that it's the mark of the beast. I said, brother, you ain't in no position to tell me what I need to tell the people. Okay? We get understanding through that Bible and the Holy Spirit. And I'm going to tell you right now, young man, you need to get your life together. But don't call me. Because you're not here to lead anything. You're here to be saved. And we will accept you. But let me tell you, don't you ever call me trying to claim that the vaccine is a mark of the beast and you want us to carry your water. You called me, young man. I don't know you. Right? So then he said, well, I gave a donation. I'm like, listen, brother, tell me where you gave a donation and we'll send it back right now. So you want me to, hold up. You're going to come to me and think that you can bribe the church into carrying your water to tell everyone that the vaccine is the mark of the beast? Are you out of your mind? Right? Folks. And I said, you know what? This guy is an op. Brothers and sisters, look what we found on CNN. Fair use.
We were out of town. We came back from Chicago. He was gone.
Abigail and John Danian haven't seen their son Isaac since September of 2020. That's when they say he ran off to Hawaii to follow his so-called guru.
I've known about the end times for many years.
That guru, Matthew Mello. He goes by...
That guru, Matthew Mello. Now, folks, this actually looks like a put-together production made for CNN. Here is the guy who called me to wanted me to carry his water and to tell the people this coming Wednesday that the vaccine is a mark of the beast. Here he is.
Goes by the name Mordecai Eliezer on social media, including his YouTube channel,
Mordecai
where he
Eliezer.
offers sermons about what he says is Satan's plan to destroy society, and false claims about the dangers of the COVID-19 vaccine, which he calls the mark of the beast.
Today, people don't even know what the mark of the beast is. Those who do still don't. They think it's an RFID chip or something of that manner.
Mello had posted Mark of the Beast.
Now you see that? This is what this guy was programmed to think, or what he thought before he even reached out to us.
Mm-hmm.
Some people out there claim that the mark of the beast is the RFID. Now, suppose we would have listened to this guy here and told everyone that the vaccine was the mark of the beast when people tried to force that on us, when we know it isn't.
What a coincidence. He thinks it's the pandemic, but not the RFID chip, when it's literally the RFID chip. He could have said anything else. Like, literally, there's so many, but he specifically said RFID when it's literally that, a microchip. It's crazy.
But I'll tell you what, they put in the full infrastructure of the mark of the beast during that whole psychological operation, the pandemic. Y'all can't tell me, folks, that the Most High isn't working with this church. They sending ops and all of that. We've been on it since the beginning, folks. And I'm going to tell you now. We're going to show you what the mark of the beast is. We're going to let you know you better not take it. And they're going to roll it out no different than they did when the vaccine and stuff went out. It's the same rollout. But guess what? The RFID is going to have, the chip is going to have some, I would say, impressive qualities. Yes, if you have a handicap, if you have a sickness, folks, it's going to be a one-stop shop. People aren't even going to need the doctors when they have this in them. Okay? You're not going to need doctors. They already have the whole system in place where you'll be on Zoom or speak to your doctor, and because you are connected to a grid through the chip, the doctor is going to know exactly what's wrong with you because it's connected to your body.
That's the convenience that people strive for. That's why they're going to get the mark of the beast. The easier, quote unquote, it makes their life, the more they want it. When it's all a lie, it's all a program, it's all psychology. That's what they want you to think.
It's connected to you. So they're going to be able to pull you up and know exactly what's wrong and fix it, just like that. Miracles. Handicaps is going to fix handicaps, all of that. And folks, this is the science that I told people even during the pandemic was already approved. So think about this. You get to keep your house. You get money in the bank, a stimulus. You get all of your debt forgiven. On top of that, if you have anybody sick in your house with a diagnosis, they're healed. How many people you think are going to be on for the RFID mark of the beast?
The world's of Satan. There can be a lot of people.
But you must give up something in exchange for all of this.
Yep, your soul.
Your soul.
Yep.
That's why those who take the mark of the beast will not be accepted.
Yep.
Because now you become someone else.
Yep.
Instead
it's the same thing with these celebrities and higher ups and rich people. It's the same thing, but just mainstream when the mark comes out. Be the same
the
thing.
Most High in your consciousness and connecting with you from on high. You're now connected to the beast. It's in your mind, connected to the beast. It's in your mind, it's in your consciousness. You're being controlled from the outside of you, and who you used to be will no longer exist.
Frequencies.
Well, that concludes my update.
Frequencies.
On YouTube, but we're going to ramp it up on the other side with Patreon. Hope to see you over there. Patreon.com/AGathering144. Come over and join us as we embark on another journey exposing the truth concerning the mark of the beast. Shalom. See you on Patreon. Patreon.com/AGathering144. See you over there. Shalom. The Bible. To understand.
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra-biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out here anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book. And the truth will make you free. Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited.
And Bible is truth, not religion. Simple.